Welcome to the Knitted by Whitney YouTube channel. I'm back with a pattern roundup, and it feels like it's been a little bit of a while since my last pattern roundup. I did intend to film this video before, but I've been really busy. My summer has just taken off like a shot, and I haven't had as much time as I thought I would to do recording. So I'm actually filming this after work, and it's kind of like after supper time. I'm hopeful that I have picked a spot with good enough lighting and I have some bright lights on around me that hopefully the lighting will be okay for this video and that it looks okay. I don't have a very long pattern roundup here today, so hopefully I can outlast the daylight. But I have the first in a series of 2 pattern roundup videos that I'm going to do for you. I originally had them together as one, but then looking at my list, I thought, oh, that's way too many. I am not going to enjoy editing that video. So I decided to split them up into 2 videos, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to record them and release them in back-to-back weeks, but if I don't, I apologize. But today I'm going to be looking at some of my top summer patterns, specifically shorts and skirts. I'm breaking a bit of a mold here because I have done a summer top roundup before. I did that a couple years ago, and I easily could have done a t-shirt roundup or a tank top roundup, but I thought I wanted to do something a little different. I've been seeing a lot of really exciting bottom patterns, so I thought I would put them together in today's video. So I have about an even split of shorts and skirts, and I think I have 15 patterns in total. So this is my top 15 size-inclusive shorts and skirts. An alternate name for this pattern roundup could also be some of my favorite Brianna Lupino patterns, because quite a number of these are patterns that she has designed. But I think she is an incredible designer when it comes to fitting things to your shape, and she really excels when it comes to making form-fitted knitted items. So I'm going to start my list with one of her patterns, which is the twisted tee shorts. Now, these came across my Ravelry, I want to say pandemic time, maybe a little later. But I have loved these since I first saw them. And I think it's because they have such a great retro vibe to them. And I haven't included the photo in my sample here, but she has one of the photos for the pattern. She styled them with a pair of roller skates with giant yarn pom-poms on them, and they look so cute. These shorts are made with fingering weight yarn, so it is a little bit of a commitment, but they are short little shorts. And if that's not your cup of tea, you can change the length of the leg and make them a little longer if you prefer. The one thing I will say about these shorts is that they are designed to be either neutral eased or negative eased to really give you that really great custom fit along your hips. I personally wouldn't want to wear shorts this short out and about because I have very large legs that rub together, and short shorts and my legs are not a fan. I have seen some great examples in the projects on Ravelry of people who have extended the length of the leg, and they still look really good. If a snug fitting short isn't your cup of tea though, pun intended, because those were the twisted tee shorts, my next pattern is the Perfect Knit Shorts by Caitlin Barthold, otherwise known as Originally Lovely. These ones just look like your classic pull-on short, and I'm so here for it. You always need something really comfy, really cozy. I can totally see you throwing these on going to the beach, or wearing them around the backyard, or even putting them on to go out for a coffee date with friends. They do honestly look like the perfect knit shorts. These ones do have a more forgiving leg though. They are more of a neutral to positive eased short, versus the twisted t-shirts are very much a snug fit. And these ones feature a really cute little dip up on the side of the leg that gives it just that added bit of detail that really makes them look snazzy. My next pattern is the pattern that really started this list, and I've been building this list for quite a while, but these are the Hemingway shorts by Laura Booth. And I found these ones through Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. She test knitted these shorts, and I have been in love with the pattern ever since. I think as soon as the pattern was out, I bought the pattern because I knew I wanted to make this pair of shorts because they're high-waisted. I love high-waisted garments, especially, well, I love high-waisted bottoms, whether it is a skirt or short or pant. I am always wearing things high-waisted. I do have quite a large belly, so I find it more comfortable to wear things on my natural waist. And I find that I really like the look of my outfit when I have a high-waisted bottom and I can tuck my top in either with like a French tuck or a full tuck, or even just like tie a shirt at my waist. I really love that look. It's really part of my personal style. So these shorts really appeal to me specifically, but I also love them because they have pockets. Yes, you can have pockets in your hand knit shorts. I wouldn't recommend putting anything really heavy in them like your phone or anything, but if you just want to have like a tube of lipstick or lip balm in your pocket, especially if you're like going to the beach and you just want to have something on hand you can pick out and put on your lips whenever you need to, these pockets would be perfect for that. I also really love that these ones have a vintage flair to them because of that high waist. I could totally picture anyone making these and having them be like really, really short shorts, and they almost look like those 1950s style bathing suit bottoms, especially if you use a yarn that could work as a bathing suit bottom yarn, as a bathing suit yarn rather. But I personally would love to have these as just like a nice everyday pair of shorts. I have some rusty copper colored cotton yarn that has been sitting in my stash for a couple years waiting to be made into these shorts. The next pattern on my list are the M4Y Knit shorts by Vanessa Fleming. And I think I can make a solid guess to say that the M4Y stands for made for you because these are a made to measure pair of shorts. I love that these are going to be custom fit to your body. Now, I haven't purchased the pattern, so I don't know what that process entails, but I'm guessing that it's probably a spreadsheet pattern where you plop in your measurements and then it spits out what you need to do for the number of stitches to cast on, your increase rate, your max number you need to fit your widest part, etc., etc. These ones also have pockets like the Hemingway shorts, but these ones are a different style of pocket. The Hemingway ones were kind of like a slit pocket that you can just stick your hand straight down. These ones are slanted pockets, which I kind of prefer because then my hands will just naturally go into the pockets. I find with like kind of a straight pocket or a patch pocket, it's kind of like you have to put your arms in order to put your hands straight down into the pockets. I find a slant pocket's much more comfortable if you're just like standing around or sitting around and just need somewhere to put your hands if you're not knitting. Sometimes I do take a break from knitting. But I also love that these ones do kind of also mimic that really vintage style, but these ones are more of like a 1970s vintage, less of a 1950s, because they have kind of a slant to the leg. So they're higher on the outside than they are on the inside, which is great if you're like me and you have short legs and you want to make sure you have coverage in between your legs to prevent any rubbing and uncomfortableness, but you kind of like the look of a shorter short because it makes you look like you have legs for days. So I kind of like that these ones play a trick of the eye on that. Now my next pair of shorts that I have on my list are definitely a vintage vibe. These are Chaz by Alice Hammer, and I love these because they have that really vintage gym short vibe, but not in like a PTSD from being in gym class kind of way. These ones are kind of like Ferris Bueller's Gym Class or Breakfast Club, one of those kind of movies where it has that classic piping along the side and along the hem of the shorts. And it really pops with the bright cherry red that the pattern designer has used for this sample. And then they've also brought that piping color into the drawstring as well. And if you have a cordsmith tool like I do, making an I-cord to go around the waistband is an absolute breeze. I also love these ones because they also have a nice looser fit around the leg, especially if you don't necessarily want to have a fitted short. You want something that's much more casual, that you can move a bit more in. Although all of these shorts are going to be really friendly for movement because there is stretch to knitted fabric, versus if you're just buying a pair of shorts from a store and they're made of a woven fabric, there really won't be any stretch. Now, if you want something that's more like a baggy cargo short, this next pattern will match that. These are the Poppy Pocket Shorts by Joan Ho, and these are definitely a wide leg short that feature these really cool side patch pockets that look really similar to cargo pants, and they even have snaps on them, which it's up to you if you want to use snaps. You could also just use buttons if you're not familiar with putting on snaps, but I think the snaps really emphasize the fact that these are meant to look like cargo shorts. There is also a special discount with this pattern. If you like the Poppy Pocket Shorts and you want to also get the Poppy Pocket Tee, if you buy the two together, you will get a $5 discount code that will take it off of the total of those two patterns together in your cart if you are interested. I have one more short pattern and then I'm going to move on to some other options. The last pair of shorts that I have are the Awa shorts by Anna Elizabeth Anderson. And I hope I pronounced the name right. I don't know if they're the Awa shorts or the Awa shorts. I haven't heard anyone say this title before. But these ones are a great pair of shorts if you want a bit of texture, because these ones feature a broken rib, and I think it's a 2x2 broken rib, but I really love how it creates kind of a pinstriping detail to the shorts. I just love that they add that bit of dimension and texture to an otherwise classic pair of shorts, very similar to some of the others that I have shown, but these ones kind of like have that little bit of something else. These ones are also a nice wide leg short, so you're going to have a nice fitted waist, and then your shorts will kind of flare out from there, making them really comfortable. Now, before I get fully into the shorts, I have one in between pattern, and if I'm in between shorts and skirts, you might be able to guess what it's going to be, but this is the Seashore Skirt, and this is by Brianna Lupino of the Little Wolf Knits. This is such a fun pattern, and I can totally see someone wearing something like this to the beach, particularly because it's called the Seashore Skirt, but also just because that gorgeous ruffle frill on the front of the shorts, the really cropped style of them, lends itself to frolicking in the sand, getting your feet in the water. It just looks so fun. But this would also be super cute for a date night, or if you just wanted to go for a nice walk, but you wanted to have a little something extra to your outfit. Brianna has made hers very short, but there are also other options in the projects on Ravelry that show it just a little bit longer. There's also one option where someone has added a frill to the shorts, as well as done the front sort of apron part of the skirt. And I think that that adds some really pretty volume, especially if you really want to disguise the fact that it is a skirt. You kind of want it to look like a skirt. That's a really easy way to disguise that. I should mention that the pattern as written does include a little bit of a ruffle on the legs of the short part of the skirt, but some people have done bigger frills and that gives it a little bit more volume underneath the apron part of the skirt. Now let's get into some skirt patterns, starting with the Skeeter Skirt by Maya Deglan, who is a newer knitwear designer, and this was her very first pattern. It's an incredible pattern, and I definitely have it on my list to make. It is a fingering weight skirt, which means it is quite the investment, and you can make it whatever length you want. So if you want to have a really long, flowy knit skirt, you might be knitting for quite a while, but you'll get there in the end. Or you could have a really short flirty skirt. And this one I think is meant to be like a circle skirt. It is very full volume, although I do believe there are two options for the volume. You could do a small flare or a large flare, and the large flare is a full circle skirt. So quite a lot of stitches, but if that's the look you're going for, that is an option for you in the pattern. This is also an incredibly size inclusive pattern. I think it goes from about newborn size all the way up to a 68-inch waist measurement, but it is quite a broad fitting skirt for a lot of body types. If you want that really classic preppy girl short skirt, these next two patterns match that. This is the Flirt Skirt and Flirt Skirt Light, both by Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted. I love these patterns, and these ones came out before the Skeeter Skirt, so although they're a similar style, I love all of them, and I feel that they all have a place. Both the Flirt Skirt and the Flirt Skirt Light go up to a 60-inch bust, but the Skeeter Skirt goes up to a 68-inch bust. So if you need a little extra room, you might need to go for the Skeeter Skirt, but the Flirt Skirt and Flirt Skirt Light are both great options as well. These ones are intended to be mini skirts, but there are plenty of examples of people who have made the pattern who have made it a little bit longer. I find it looks really, really nice if it's just above knee length, that you get a really great A-line look to it. And these are just really nice classic styles, so I wanted to include them as well. The next pattern on my list also has pretty much the exact same shaping, but it gives you a slightly different look because it uses some different techniques. This next pattern is Puro by Hemingway. I hope I pronounced correctly. I do apologize if I did not. This is a striped skirt, but that's not necessarily what makes it exciting. Something that sets this skirt apart from the Skeeter Skirt and the Flirt Skirt and Flirt Skirt Light is the way that it's constructed. This one starts with your waist measurement and you knit the body of the skirt, and then you join the waistband afterwards by knitting it perpendicular. And as far as I am aware, looking at the instructions, it looks like you include an elastic at that point. So whatever measurement you have taken for the body of your skirt, which has to be your largest measurement, you are cinching that in at the waist. So you're essentially creating a gathered knit skirt. And I really love that because I love a lot of volume for my skirts. When I've sewn skirts, I usually do a gathered waist skirt. Partly because that's a relatively easy one to do, but also because I love a really flowy skirt that you can play around with, and this is that in knitted form. I also really love the color story of the pattern. It's so cool looking at the beige, the navy, and the dark red. I think that's a great color combo, and it looks so punchy styled with the white and red tube socks and the bright red jacket. Such a great look. And now for something a little different. This is the Lolita skirt by Lil Dunham. And I think this one is just so cute. This one's definitely more of a party skirt. It's definitely one that you are gonna wanna like play dress up in and just really revel in the girliness of it. I know that's not for everybody, but for those who are into it, this looks like such a fun pattern. Now, it was hard to choose a photo to include for this because the main pattern sample uses a slubby yarn, and it gives a really different look than the plain yarn that's used in the sample photo that I've chosen. But both feature this adorable little lace ruffle underneath, and I believe that is using either mohair or suri to give that really fuzzy, flowy element to it. Now, this one may look like it's in stockinette, but it is not. It is actually knit a 1x1 rib. So if that's not your thing, you might not enjoy this pattern, but I actually really love a ribbed pattern, particularly because it's really easy to hide my ends on the inside. The next pattern on my list is the Petals skirt by Anne Hansen. It's not just a fancy skirt because it's made with lace. You can dress it down for your day-to-day office look, or if you're just going out and grabbing coffee or something like that. They've really shown how versatile it is. But this is the first lace skirt that I'm sharing on this list, and I think it is such a beautiful lace pattern. It's very geometric. It creates these beautiful lines coming down the skirt that sort of almost come into this chevron style lace, and then they end with these little kind of triangles of like really boxy lattice lace, and I just think it looks like it flows so nicely. It really creates a beautiful fabric, and I love that gentle A-line. I think that's a really classic fitting skirt. I only have one pattern left on my list, and I've saved it to the end because it's a free pattern. This is the Lana Lacy skirt by Famke of Mipi the Label, which I hope I pronounced all of that correctly. I do apologize if I did not, but this is such a cute pattern. I think I saw this one come up just this past winter, and although it is styled with boots and a sweater, I think it's a great option for summer, particularly if you choose a linen yarn or a cotton yarn, or maybe something that has a little bit of viscose in it to really give you a flowy, lacy skirt. I love how this one has stockinette for the body of the skirt until about, I'd say, mid-thigh, and then it becomes lace. That makes it nice and covered for all your bits that need to be covered, and then you get these nice breezy lace sections over your knees and your lower legs. Great for ventilation in the summer. I know I live somewhere where it's really humid in the summertime. I need a bit of breeziness. I need a bit of cool air coming through my legs, especially if I'm wearing something that is long like this skirt is. But I don't think that should discount it from being a summery pattern just because it is long. I think it's really great for summer. I love a long skirt at night for a summer date night, or throwing over your bathing suit if you're going to the beach or the pool. I think it's a really versatile piece, and I think this one in particular would be nice and potato chippy because those lace sections are all different lace motifs, which I think creates a lot of interest with the pattern, and I just think it makes it a really great option for a summer skirt. And that wraps up this list of summer shorts and skirts. I know, just a quick little one, but I am kind of working against the clock here. I think I've managed to record with enough daylight still left, and I've managed to go through all the patterns that I had on my list, and I hope that you have found something in this list. I was really excited about this. I really wanted to film over the past couple of weeks, but I've just had to keep pushing it and pushing it. So I was happy to be able to just sit down tonight and just really get it out, get it recorded so that I can start editing it and bringing it to you. So there's quite a variety of patterns in this list, but I hope you found something that you liked in it. And if you know someone else who might enjoy this pattern roundup, please share it with them. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. While you're here, it would help my channel if you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and please leave me a comment below. Let me know which of these patterns you really liked. Let's have a great conversation in the comments. You'll also notice in my description box below that I have 2 affiliate links, one to Création Miss Couture Yarns, who is a Canadian indie dyer based out of Alberta, as well as a link to Hastakatha over on Etsy, where you can use my code Whitney10 to get 10% off your order. They create beautiful size-inclusive clothing pieces made using natural fabrics such as linen and cotton. So I just wanted to point those out in case you haven't seen them. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all take care and happy knitting!